Look at this thing. Just look at it. It violates every single rule of aerodynamics. Seriously, it looks like a giant flying school bus or a flying hot dog. It shakes, it vibrates, and it makes a sound so loud it rattles your teeth. But let me ask you a question. If you are pinned down in a combat zone, surrounded by the enemy, running out of ammo, and you need a 15,000-pound artillery cannon dropped exactly on your position right now, who are you going to call? You call the Chinook, the CH-47, the ugly duckling of the sky that turned into the absolute king of heavy lift. For over 60 years, this machine has been doing the impossible. It has carried troops out of burning jungles, lifted broken helicopters off mountains, and delivered heavy metal directly to the front lines. Today, we are going to find out why this bizarre double-rotor beast has never been replaced, and why the military absolutely refuses to let it go.
Most helicopters look sleek and aggressive. They have one big rotor on top and a little tiny rotor on the back tail. That tail rotor stops the helicopter from spinning out of control. But the engineers behind the Chinook said, no, we don't want a tail rotor. Why? Because a tail rotor steals your power. It can take up to 15% of the engine's power just to keep the helicopter flying straight. The Chinook uses a tandem rotor system, two massive 60-foot rotors spinning in opposite directions. This means 100% of the engine power goes into one thing, lifting. If you look inside, it's basically just a giant, empty aluminum tube. Mechanics love and hate this bird. It requires intense maintenance to keep it in the air. You have two massive Lycoming turbine engines pushing out almost 5,000 horsepower each. The transmission system connecting the front and rear rotors is a masterpiece of mechanical engineering. The rotors are synchronized. If those blades ever go out of sync and hit each other in mid-air, it's game over. But that almost never happens because this machine is built like a flying tank.
Now, watch what happens when they hook up a heavy load. This is called a sling load operation, and it is insanely dangerous for everyone involved. Imagine trying to thread a needle while standing in the middle of a Category 1 hurricane. The downwash from those two massive rotors creates a brutal, violent storm on the ground. Soldiers have to stand directly under this hovering metal monster. They are fighting wind speeds of over 100 miles per hour, getting blasted by flying rocks and dirt. All of this just to manually hook a Humvee, a supply crate, or a giant howitzer cannon to the bottom hooks. The CH-47 has 3 cargo hooks underneath its belly. It can carry over 26,000 pounds. That is 13 tons of pure weight. It can literally pick up a damaged F-15 fighter jet or another helicopter and fly away with it. And here is the craziest part about its design. Because it puts all its power into lifting and doesn't waste energy on a tail rotor, the fat, ugly Chinook is actually faster than the Apache attack helicopter. Yeah, you heard that right. The flying bus is faster than the sports car. It can hit speeds of over 190 miles per hour.
But the Chinook is not just a flying crane. It is the ultimate battlefield taxi. When that back ramp drops, it means business. During an air assault, a single Chinook can drop 33 fully equipped combat troops directly into the hot zone. In absolute life or death emergencies, pilots have packed over 50 people inside that aluminum tube to get them to safety. You ride side by side, shoulder to shoulder, listening to the deafening roar of the transmission right above your head. And the pilots who fly these things, they are absolute artists. There is a famous, terrifying maneuver called the Pinnacle Landing. Imagine a steep mountain cliff in Afghanistan. There is nowhere to land. The terrain is a nightmare. So the pilot hovers the helicopter, resting only the two back wheels on the edge of the cliff. The entire front half of the helicopter is just hanging over empty space. The ramp drops, soldiers run out into the fight, and the bird flies away. One wrong move with the flight stick, one gust of mountain wind, and the whole thing tumbles down the mountain. It requires absolute nerves of steel.
Now, imagine doing all of that in the pitch black. Night operations separate the amateurs from the legends. Everything you see during a night mission is through night vision goggles, that eerie, glowing green world. The pilots are flying a multi-million-dollar machine, carrying tons of explosives or dozens of lives, using essentially 2 green toilet paper tubes strapped to their eyes. Your depth perception is completely gone. Your field of view is terrible. But the mission does not stop just because the sun went down. And then there is the ultimate enemy, the dust. The military calls it a brownout. When a massive Chinook lands in the desert, the twin rotors kick up a cloud of sand and dirt so thick it completely blocks out the sun. It swallows the helicopter whole. The pilots are flying completely blind for the last 50 feet to the ground. They cannot see the ground. They cannot see the horizon. They rely purely on their dashboard instruments, muscle memory, and the voice of the crew chief yelling instructions from the back ramp. It is a terrifying few seconds where you just have to trust your crew and pray there isn't a ditch beneath your wheels.
Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan. This helicopter has survived it all. First introduced way back in 1962, it was supposed to be replaced decades ago. The military tried to build new helicopters, sleeker, modern, stealthy machines with futuristic designs. But every single time, they realized one simple, unavoidable truth. Nothing, absolutely nothing, beats the brute strength of the flying banana. The Chinook is incredibly tough. It has been shot at by heavy machine guns, hit by rocket-propelled grenades, and taken massive battle damage. But thanks to its redundant flight systems and rugged airframe, it often manages to limp back to base, keeping its crew alive. Today, the CH-47 has been upgraded with digital cockpits, advanced countermeasures, and stronger airframes. The United States Army plans to keep the Chinook flying well past the year 2060. Think about how insane that is. That means this core design will be actively flying in combat for over 100 years. The young soldiers flying in the back of these machines today weren't even born when the first Chinooks took to the sky. It is a true testament to raw, unfiltered, heavy-duty engineering. It doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be quiet. It just needs to get the job done. When you are out there in the dirt and you hear that heavy rhythmic thumping sound echoing over the battlefield, you know exactly what is coming. Hope is on the way. Heavy metal is arriving.